Hey, 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 welcome back to another episode of The In-Between. I'm your host, Elizabeth Genie, and today I am on location, which feels very fancy to say, at Elixir Brew Co. It is a new brewery opening up in Buford, Georgia, very, very soon. And I'm very excited to bring Ryan Keysar, who is a friend from my alma mater, KSU, and his business partner, Chad Davis, to the podcast.
How you doing?
They are the founders, creators, the masterminds, the mad scientists, I wonder what that could mean, of Elixir Brew Co. So I am so excited to have you guys here and talk about this. But first off, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Is this your first podcast that you've ever been on?
Oh, yeah.
It is for me. Yep.
There goes the train.
So we're honored.
We planned that. There it goes. That was like a rogue train too. It was just like by itself.
It's like one car.
Right next to the train tracks. Yeah.
That was hilarious. I loved it. But anyways, I thank you. Welcome to the pod. So Elixir Brew Co.
Yes.
You're opening up a brewery.
Yes, we are.
A brick and mortar business. That
Brick and
just
mortar.
seems overwhelming.
You're physically here.
I'm physically here. So let's just my first question off the bat is what inspired y'all to start, I guess, a business, a brewery? I mean, all of the above.
Man, I can start it if you want to.
Yeah, please. Absolutely.
Okay, so basically we're both just very creative people.
Okay.
And
Couldn't gather that. Oh my goodness.
And we also just love seeing we just love what humans can do. I'll start from my core and we'll go back to how we met, but I was raised Roman Catholic and there's a priest actually that I follow, that Pierre del Chardin. He has a quote that says, "It's our duty as men and women to proceed as if our limits don't exist." So it's really the core, the ethos of who I am is to always be building, always be creating something.
Ooh.
And our current situation where we're working in now, we felt we weren't able to keep building. We weren't able to test our limits and proceed as creators. So we kind of just talked at a coffee shop 3 and a half years.
Wow.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
I mean, also just like yesterday, kind of.
Yes,
in a way.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just to that point, right? Like we met through work, which was kind of one of those great things where I actually, funny enough, I think I hired you.
You hired me. She hired me 8 years ago.
I love that.
Which is so great. Obviously, I think he's a stud, and we formed this amazing, relationship. And what started as like work colleagues and kind of building that up and working together and filling that out turned into an amazing friendship, right? And so it kind of turned into this thing where we both are like, man, like we're very like-minded. What do you want to do? Because you have those questions like,
Right.
where am I at in the next 10 years of my life? You know what I mean? And we really sat down and ate that. And we're like, okay, like this is what I love to do. Here's my passions. And then here came up and, go for it.
Let's build something great. I was at UGA during the craft beer boom. So the Terrapins, Creature Come from the World.
Ooh,
So, and it kind of was a slippery slope since then. I visited probably almost 100 breweries.
okay.
I really, the part I appreciate.
He's not an alcoholic.
The part I appreciated, but besides
100%.
it being beer, was these artists were like creating something that was a craft. That was something they were proud of. They got to go go experiment, which we're really into the keyword experiment.
Yep.
From there, I mean, Chad loves anything craft.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't stop at beer. He goes to whiskey as well.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
loves-
Oh,
It's
my
good.
husband
Yeah.
likes bourbon.
It's very good.
And we
should
were
chat
sitting
after.
at-
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're sitting in a coffee shop like, dude, we need an outlet to build something.
I love
And
this.
I'm like, dude, it's like, craft beer could really be a place to start because we really want to start a community. At the core, we really wanted to start and celebrate people that could build and create, and bring them together, start a community. We're like, what's the medium and outlet for that? And beer was kind of the perfect
Okay.
name.
So the beer was not first. It was, we want to build something because we're not like completely happy. Like
Yep.
this is our life's purpose is not meant to work this 9-to-5 job
Yeah,
forever.
absolutely.
And so you came together. We want to create something. We want to build community. And then that's where the beer came from.
Yep.
That is so fascinating.
Pretty awesome.
I love that the onset, the goal, the drive was to benefit others in a way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, what's really funny, like another part of this whole thing is really kind of the board game aspect. Like I'm a nerd at heart. Like I love it. Like
we're all like company. We're like,
so
we
great.
like nerds. We all
It's
nerd
so
here.
much fun. But like that kind of thing is just, again, another creative outlet of like someone put the mindset together to create like a fun journey or something to experience. But it's not that you're locked on a phone, right? Because that's so like interpersonal and you're like kind of block out the world. But it's like you're really sharing something across the table with somebody, and it's intentional stuff, right? Like I can look you in the eyes, we can have a conversation.
So deep about board games.
No, but like
truly, it's true. I'm like, we're getting existential.
100%, but it's like that combination of like, okay, how do you bring this love of craft and like bring things together where it's like you can have an intentional time where people can be themselves and like just love a place and feel comfortable, and like we wanted a home that way, that just really was that hearth and home, and just this accentuates us, right?
I feel like this was like, y'all were meant to do this. Like hearing you talk about it and hearing how it grew organically and how the idea came to fruition, this is beautiful. Yeah. So all of this started 3 years ago at a coffee shop.
Coffee shop, yeah.
And now it's like a whole
thing.
You got a mural. Yeah. I mean, y'all are really rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it goes right to what we did. We're like, we want everything we're doing, even why you're here with us today, is we want to feature people in their craft. So we reached out to
Don't make me cry.
Reach out to the experts because we want to learn from you. We want to learn from.
He's really
this was done by a friend of mine as well, Kayleen. She's an artist.
Yep.
Bring her craft in here. Like, that's what we really want. We want to be sponges. Like we want to soak up and see what everyone brings to the table.
Yep.
I know we can't predict the future, but I truly believe people who are like walking the path that serves them, like their passion, it will be successful because it's like your why is so established. It's your foundation. And I mean, I didn't realize that the beer was like, not the afterthought, but that was not the initial driver. I love that the driver was the connection, the community, and the creation. Ooh, the 3 C's.
Yeah.
That's not planned. There we go. But I think that's so beautiful. And again, I love the existentialism around board games. I love board games. Yeah. Now I'll never look at a board game.
Yeah. You think you love board games? Yeah. Play a board game with this fellow.
Let's go.
I will absolutely host it.
Catan, let's go.
Yes, we do have them on the show.
That has made me and my husband fight.
We join on Monopoly. It's okay. That was like the one that like ends marriage.
Draw the line.
He's like, quit checking my bricks in my seat. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just can't help it. You're just, you're in my road, bro. Anyways.
I love that. But it's funny. You talked about the beer part of it. Like, obviously we're so proud about like what we created. And like, I'm so excited, for hints later for you to like possibly try these, which will be great. But even to that point, we just so happen to sell that beer, but it's really about that intentional community on this side. And like, how can we bring people in and share that same thing, which is the core of it. And it's not us, right? Like we want to share this with others, and it's about people. Like it really, and I feel like life as a general whole, right? Like it is, we're truly meant to be like in community with others. And it's,
agree.
If I can get myself out of the equation, we're doing good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back into marriage and that kind of stuff too, right? Like my wife and I have been married for, going on 12 years now, which is amazing, but it's because of that, like, not self-serving mentality, and it's like, how can I serve you, and how can I be a light to you, and like bring you up, and we want to bring that into our business.
I love that. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. We're having this great conversation, but I'm like, man, we could just really go to this.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the branding behind Elixir Brew Co.
Yes.
I mean, at this point in the episode, I think everyone listening can understand, like, these guys have some great ideas, great passion, great creativity. So we've mentioned the mural, and it's a scientist, and I kind of tipped a little bit at the beginning about it. So Elixir Brew Co. is your slogan is finding your inner mad
scientist. Yes.
So let's talk about that.
And celebrating the experimenters too. Yeah. So just to give a little groundwork, we both are in marketing. So we both
the genius company.
8 years in marketing. So it's really what we work. That's our craft right now. It's what we get good at. But yeah, we were thinking about it, like we were talking about, like creators, crafters, like what would just symbolize that to a T. And here we have our mad scientist, and just representing that, we want people to bring out their inner mad scientist. Awesome. Like
we kind of blended that like alchemy thing too, where it's like, again, it goes into that like almost fantasy and then craft brew side. So it's like we're making a craft, and I love it though. You know what I mean? Because it is us. Like we just want to do life with you, and it's just like marriage of like who we are, which I think is so important, right? Because it's not like we're trying to be something that we're not in this business. It's like, we just want to share this awesome vision with you. And so I created this alchemy mad scientist, and it's so cool. And
it's been so fun having we have reached out to a bunch of artists.
Yes.
This is what you see now, but we have a lot of different takes on our fellow artist guide. We just give them essentially like a baseline, like branding, colors and stuff. And we're like, you do you. Like you'll start seeing it over time, but other iterations of our character, of our mad scientist.
Oh, cool.
And there are some goofy, some crazy things. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. It's fun too, because like even into our beers, they're kind of like take off of some things that are like pop culture, some things that are like kind of hidden. So if you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But if you don't, you're like, okay, that's great. I like it. I can get with it. So there's a lot of hidden meaning in it, but he's in every single one in like a weird, quirky way.
Sticky situations
sometimes. It's hilarious, which is so fun. So we're excited, obviously, to share that as we grow and get that stuff out there.
But it's a great mascot.
Yeah.
For your vision.
And the name Elixir has a lot of things. It's alchemy, which goes to the board games. It's also beer is the elixir of life.
Yes.
So there you go. And the color scheme also kind of matches with this community that's kind of accepting.
Yes.
Buford's color is green, so we're really tie into that too.
That was very, very good for y'all, especially trying to get like brand awareness and brand acceptance. So I think that's really, I love the fact that you found such a perfect mascot. I'm curious, how quick did you come up with that being 2 marketing guys?
Every idea that you see here was literally just us like, we call it shower thoughts. We're like, dude, I was in the shower today, hear me out. And we say it. This dude was also a shower thought, and all the names of our beers were just like we're just be randomly just chatting, probably at some point doing some renovation here, and we're like, dude, how about this? And we just run with it because I mean that's.
I got to tip my hat to Ryan too. It's one of those things that like a lot of times in a space when you're working with others, you almost are afraid to kind of put something out there because like, okay, is it going to be accepted? Like,
oh my
is
goodness.
this dumb? Like, what are we doing? Right?
I know that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, but it's met with such grace, right? It's like, dude, I love that. And here's where we can grow this. Or, hey, like, what did you think about this? And it is really a collab between us and it makes it amazing. And so I'm just forever grateful for his partnership, his friendship. And
so whenever like he puts this idea, I'm like, let's do it. Or let's tweak it like this and then let's do it. But we were really it's dangerously creative.
Here's the thing that's funny, and it goes back to kind of the brew side. It even goes back to everything that you do. So like what you see, what you touch, what you smell, what you taste. Like we want that to be an experience. And we've kind of coined this like we want our beers to be crushable.
Yes, crushable.
And that's like, and if we like hit that point with our recipes, we're like, right? And then it's like even the next thing, okay, like the tables or whatever it is, it's like, okay, that crushed it. Like, and it's like, it's kind of becoming this
I'm
thing.
here for it. That is a worker.
Yes.
I'm here for it. Absolutely. Just don't use the word, we hit that metric. I like
No. Yeah, we got to get rid of that.
Yeah, we don't like the business jargon. Gosh.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely. Good grannies. I feel that. Okay. So with that, you have this, what I'm sensing with all of your branding and like the vision behind what you're trying to create, there's so much intention outside of you. It's like something bigger than yourself. So you've talked about like your brand, like how you came up with it, the vision, the voice. How are you identifying your audience? Like how you want to pander to everyone. Like this is I like how you talked about how it led you to beer as a like safe space. That's definitely the wrong term I'm trying to see. Like a medium ground, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
A meeting place for people.
Yeah. So, I know it's cliche, but you hear this a lot, but we're really in the business of people. We just so happen to sell beer. Yeah. So
you want to expand on that?
Yeah. No, I mean, we want to hear your story. We want to learn about you. Again, like I said before, we're sponges. And if you have something that you want to share, hopefully we can be a catalyst to help you get it out there. And then maybe have a great tasting beer when you're doing it.
Hey, you gotta push that product.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Even down to like the bar, right? Like before we were kind of going through, I'm like, do you do seats and that kind of stuff? It's like, because I want you to like walk up. There's a footrest where you can kind of lean in, and I can lean in, and it's like this. Like we're close, we're having a conversation, and you really can have more of that intention rather than like sliding a beer down the road. I'm like, hey, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, not it. And even down to here, like with the game, like we'll be out here teaching people. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, have you heard of this? Like, let me show you. Like those kind of things is what we want. Because then not everyone wants to have that interaction, but just the fact that we're meeting people there and like care about every seat in these seats.
And people will cling to that.
Yeah.
Because I know you talk about, so you're in the business for people. So community, we've talked about community is a huge thing.
Yes.
So you are not just making beer. To me, it's like that is just the bonus of what Elixir Brew Co is. Yeah. It's more so a community, a place of finding yourself, a place of finding belonging.
Yes, exactly.
A place of finding acceptance. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's so beautiful.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Done.
It's funny too. It even goes down to the events, right? Because for us, like even outside of this, like we're gonna have trivia nights, we're gonna do live music, we're gonna have like those things, karaoke. You know what I mean? Like
I'll be there.
It's just something that for us, we want to have this like 60-day roadmap of like people in the community. You'll know like what's going on in Elixir at every week. That's ahead of the time, right?
Yes.
Which is really cool. Because it allows a lot of people to plan and not be surprised by something, and the stuff they really are excited about, they can come and actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the craft side of that too, or like promoting other artists, right? Like whether it's a musician or like people trying to get their feet off the ground, like we just want that.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And shower thought.
So
one of our most recent shower thoughts. Well, this is something we thought about because a lot of breweries will do trivia nights. We're like, dude, this October, why don't we try to do something crazy, like where we almost put fan bases up against each other, where like see who's the most passionate. So we're gonna, I think, shower thought. So it's still in the works. We're like, what if we do like
that's the official
for every Thursday in October, because people are already buying their costumes anyway for October's Halloween. We do 3 trivia nights with 3 fan bases and see. I mean, we want the trivia to be hard. Like we want only like you got to know your stuff. Yep. We're like, let's do a Harry Potter one. Let's do a Game of Thrones one. Let's do like a Star Wars one. And Thursday, and let's just see who shows up the most. Yep. Let's see who does it. And we're just, we can award people for what they're wearing. We can award people for
I love that.
their knowledge of it. But we really, that was like the most recent show. So we just
that's a crushing thought.
That's a crushing thought. But that's just like an example. We just roll it. We just come up with it and roll with it.
I think that's great. I can totally see those kind of events happening here. Like this is going to be a place, a haven for all kinds of people, which I think is so exciting. So the branding, the vision behind it, the intention, all of that is beautiful, great, boom. But I think it takes a little bit more to open up business. So that seems like the fun part, right?
Yes.
So like when do things get a little hairy?
We covered all the fun stuff.
I think it was that moment when we, I think we secured the place in July, right? Okay. And we were like in our minds, like, September, we're going to be open. We got this. Here we are, almost a year later. And it's just because, we were young in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have these things or you have these goals and aspirations, and like there's a whole side of business that we didn't understand.
Yes.
But I think the biggest core in that was we didn't want to get us down. You know what I mean? It's like, you look at it as a mindset of like, okay, I didn't know that, so let's learn and let's dig in and let's get these laws under like what we need to and talk to the right people and shake hands. And like our minds were blown away by this whole thing. And I take it as an experience of like, you don't know what the future brings, right? Like obviously we want future success for what's going on, but even if the doors close, this is an invaluable lesson that we've learned that I would never trade for anything. So like, yes, is it stressful? Yeah. Is it financially bearing it sometimes? Yeah. But like,
so positive.
Would I do it again? Absolutely. And I'd encourage anyone else to take that step, right? Because there's no one telling you, you can't do that. Like, it's yourself. Like,
and you're saying not walking the status quo, like embracing the unknown.
Absolutely.
The path.
It's not, I'm not saying it's not scary, but absolutely, like taking that step of faith is so important. And
oh, so sweet, ignorant Ryan and Chad. Oh man. But but the thing is, we really took it as like every time it came at us, like there were blows. We were like, okay, we didn't take it as a blow. We took it as a challenge. Like, all right,
love it.
It was like, like, is that the best you got? Let's go. We can handle this. And then it helps that we can feed off each other's energy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's been some blows that were like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But we're like, no, we got it.
We got Chad. It's gonna be all right, dude. All right.
Yeah. So if you're starting a business, you gotta, register. There's things you have to do to start a business. Mm-hmm. If you're starting a brick and mortar business, okay, you still got the baseline of stuff to start a business, and then you got more paperwork to do the brick and mortar. Oh, then you want to do alcohol? Oh, okay. Now you got the business stuff, and then you got all the stuff for a brick and mortar place. Oh, and then you got alcohol. So because alcohol still, every single level of government needs to thumbs it up. Yep. So,
well, and there's so many different levels of what alcohol looks like, right? So if you're doing like whiskeys and that kind of stuff, or just brews or wine, or like it all has different laws and regulations behind what that is. And we didn't know that, right? So like us, we're like, we're just
or even manufacturing. Yeah. You have to get a different license to distribute. To like, if I wanted to sell to next door, I have to get a different license.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So you were learning all of these speed bumps, these hurdles, this red tape as we were
going. Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing that though, because like you took your passion, which is what originated the idea, right? And then you started pursuing it, and it's like, oh, snap, crackle, pop. Like there are this is not as streamlined as I thought it was, but I appreciate you talking about that because you embrace the pivots, because that's what it is. Pivot. Yep. You didn't let it get you down. I think your vision is also like what helps you keep going with that. But it's important to add, like, you didn't know all the things. And that doesn't mean that you're silly, like you didn't do your proper, like, pre-work, so to speak. Yep. There is an element of you just have to take it as it comes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Go into
You
the
can only
unknown.
prepare so much. Like you probably, like, even if y'all had read every single charter, every book, every law, you probably still would have been like curveballs. And also, we don't have time to read every law in the book.
Yeah,
so
a lot. I would say to that point, it's funny because like having our core and our why was so strong, and that helped a ton because it's like
I can only imagine.
we knew what we were
your
going to
ethos.
try and accomplish, right? So even though there's a lot of stuff we didn't get, we knew this was going to happen regardless of what this looked like, right?
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it got us out of that equation of like, we need to put people in our lives that are so much better than us in every aspect that we can learn and be a sponge and grow. And like, that was invaluable because like, again, there's people and key people in this whole place that we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for their expertise, right? Like,
so you start reaching out to other people to kind of help, like ask questions, things like that.
Whether it be renovating, whether it be like, we'll talk about it in a second, but scaling a beer from a garage homebrew to real to real size. Like, there's a lot of chemistry and stuff that changes in the scaling of that. So just tapping into, again, we found creators and crafters in the spaces that we could learn from, and we just so blessed to have so many people in our court and so many people, even at the city level. Yeah. There was some growth that needed to happen, but man, even this community, Buford's amazing. And it's been so nice to see other small businesses come in and just, we were able to like bounce ideas off them and ask for feedback. Like, listen, how do you do this? And it's been incredible.
I love that you brought that up too, because there's a lot of like getting into a city sometimes where it's kind of like they don't know you, right? And like you don't know them, and you're like trying to navigate this, and they want the best for their city, right? And like
absolutely
for us, like we're passionate, and we're like, but promise you, this is gonna be awesome.
Just meet us.
Yes, yeah. But getting through that and like building those relationships is so foundational, right? And it was just so cool because like then it was a bad thing, but it was different than now, right? Like now we feel like we're part of this community.
I was going to say, you were establishing community.
Yeah,
you're establishing roots in a way.
Absolutely.
Building that trust, which is important as a brand. Like whether it's a brick and mortar business, whether it's like you're a content creator, like that's grounding the loyalty, the community, like that is what's going to make you successful. So that's really smart that you guys did that and made the intention behind it. I also just want to go like really quick back to the grounding of your why. I just think that's really important to like hit or crush, I guess. Is that the term we're using right now? Because if you don't have your why, and I mean, I think that transcends even just a business. Like, why do you exist? Why do you want to live? Right? Like that is what grounds you. And I claps. What was I saying? Props to you guys for being so settled and strong in that foundation and using that as like as the marker, as like the anchor, so to speak. Do you have any thoughts, or not thoughts, but comments, advice for anyone? Like, because it's hard, because like when you were dealing with it's like, holy moly, how did you maintain that we got this? Like, you're going to keep going.
Yeah. So it comes from our background of 8 years. We support a lot of businesses that don't have the why, and we support some that do, and you can see it. It's night and day. It's night and day. You see when someone has something they believe in, everything else falls in place. So as long as you have why you're here, what your core is, what your ethos is, and everything else will fall into place. Everything else becomes more fun too. So actually,
good point.
So I mean, we've seen how to do it and how not to do it, and we're like, okay, well, why are we doing it? And that's kind of circles back. But if you ever, I guess, advice-wise, if you're ever gonna start a business, always start. Don't just like be like, oh, this thing's margins here are great. Let's go make some money. You gotta have
take money out of
it. Yeah, just like how do I make the most money? You might succeed, but you won't be rich in immensely emotionally. You might get rich financially, but like you need to have a base. You gotta have a vision, and the vision that can never lose sight of it the whole time.
Yeah, and people see that. You know what I mean? Like it goes down to like what you're doing, where it's like if you're trying to make like the dollar, right? Like that is so far from what this is. You know what I mean? Like
authenticity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And transparency. Like we're an open book. So I mean that helps a lot too.
You know, again, it goes back to like just having a mindset in this of like it's okay to learn. It's okay not to have those answers, right? And again, it goes back to that core of who we had, right? Like Ryan and our families and our wives and like all those things that kind of came together, that it was a good driving force to be like, this thing, it's gonna be great.
So did your wives, like your partners, are they like okay with this? Because I'm sure you probably dropped some money so far. And are they like, my husband's crazy. I can't, or did they support? Because for me, like I'm a one-woman show here on the In-Between. I always joke about that. Like, one day I won't have to do all of the work, but until then we're hustling. But like, it's hard sometimes. Like the other day I was recording something and I was a silly goose and didn't put my phone in the 16.9 ratio. And I'm like, you dumb. I filmed it in a 9:16. And I'm like, you've been doing this for 2 years. I can't believe that you made that mistake. That's like a rookie mistake. But when those moments happen, when you feel stupid, whatever, like my husband will build me up. There's certain things that will like take me down or like make my imposter syndrome spiral. He'll ground me and say, but that hasn't happened yet because, you're pursuing the podcast. You got, like he always grounds me. So I'm just curious, like, have they been supportive and how has that helped?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, community starts at the home. So literally I could not do this without my wife. She's a foundation for everything I'm doing. Also great at reality checks. Really good at that. But yeah, no, I mean, it really, again, the community starts at the home. If you don't have a strong foundation there, I mean, it makes everything harder. And I couldn't be here without the support that she's been giving me so far in this process.
You hear that? I the same, right? Like at the end of the day, like I'm definitely like a dreamer and my wife is very realist. And but it's a beautiful combination, right? Because we really work off each other in a lot of cool ways. And in that, you know what I mean? Like being a creative person, like there's been a lot of ideas and things that have come along. It's not like Elixir was like the first idea, right? But it was really honestly the very first one that my wife was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And just to have that confidence in her, in me, kick this thing off.
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
I would say too, like, it's funny, like as much as we've been doing like just ridiculous hours and like just going to get it, because it's us. It's not like we're like trying to get a bunch of other contractors. It's just like, and I mean, on the end of like, it's family and it's just a close thing. It's not like it's outsourced across the board.
Right.
It's a lot of blood, sweat and tears in this thing. But my wife had it so much worse. You know what I mean? Like she's home with our kids and like doing her full-time job and taking care of the kids while I'm not home. And like
the sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice.
People don't talk about the sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
There's a lot
from us and then from the family that supports
so,
us.
Forever
They
grateful.
pay too.
Yeah. I mean, our wives are instrumental.
Yeah.
You hear that, ladies? You guys are the rock stars.
Absolutely.
You're the real mad scientist. I definitely agree. Like, and I feel like there's some, like, I feel like the sacrifice is not talked about a lot. Not just in opening a brick and mortar. I mean, just pursuing anything, I always say, outside the status quo. And I don't say that to like knock people who have corporate jobs. Like we all have corporate jobs right now, and we're all pursuing our passion projects to eventually hopefully make this our money maker, whatever you want to call it. But the sacrifice, it's easy to see the highlight reel on social media. It's easy to see, like Creature Comforts, like got the branding, the name recognition, whatever. You've got this great like logo, this great spokesperson, this great idea, but you don't see all the behind the scenes, the hard. And I think that's also where what keeps you grounded through the sacrifice is, again, the why. You just have to be so attached to your why. And the why comes from within. So I think that's very, very,
the first thing that sacrifice is always sleep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For me, it was like mental health. Like, I'm just going to be stressed over thinking this for a minute. And then once I finally got over that, and that just comes with trials and tribulations, so to speak. But it's like, I think we were talking about this before we started recording. Like, there's like always, once you reach that one tier, okay, great. There's a new set of imposter syndrome and things to worry about, or things you got to get through, red tape you got to get through. And I think that's just part of the process, and you just embrace it. You pivot when you have to. And you just believe like, well, why not me? That's my favorite thing to ask myself, or anyone asks like, why are you doing this? Like, who says you could? Well, why not? Who says I couldn't?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the driver.
You know what's really cool? I take a look at where we are now, and you kind of go back and like, man, the life experiences that I had from like young kid to now, it really led to this moment. You know what I mean? And
absolutely,
it's those things where I wouldn't give away like the current job that we have, as much as like, yes, sometimes it gets crazy. I would do it again. Like even knowing what I know, I would do it again because I met Ryan.
Let's say, brought you guys together.
Yeah, like I have a skill set now that I didn't have when I first started that journey and that job, right? And everything leading us from like all the moves and all the things and family change and kids and like, it's amazing. Part of our story, and we just want to hear other stories and like share ours, and like it's just really passionate.
I feel like this is gonna be I'm the kind of place. I'm not gonna think of any name, unfortunately. But like I think Eddie Zadok is one. That's not a brewery, but like this is gonna be the place where like the future stars come. Like we're gonna give them their break. Like they're like, oh well, they went to Elixir Brew Co. and now they're famous. Of course they did, because they gave them Elixir Brew. Like when you're up in Mike Nights, we're gonna see a future country star. I just know it. So with all of this, let's talk about the actual product.
Yes.
The beer.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
although I'd like to argue the product is y'all and your creativity
Well,
and like what to me, your product is the brand, like, and the beer is the bonus point.
Yes.
Yes,
Hopefully that doesn't
absolutely.
offend you. But
Yes.
Not at all.
So,
No, we're on the
well,
same page.
what we
Okay.
will do is we'll have you try some of the beers. What we won't do is we won't tell you the names of them.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
That's because we want to put, shower thought again. Shower thought.
This is true, I guess.
Yeah, but we want to really put events around releasing each name because we put a lot of thought into these names and the branding. Yeah, so we'll have you taste them.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Chad is perfectionist. So we have been working on these things forever. Like we've been working on these things for, 2 years in a garage and 1 year not in a garage.
I wanted to know, so you said 3 years ago you had this idea.
Yeah.
When did you start actually brewing?
Right
At the coffee shop, we went online and bought a homebrew kit. Like in there, we're like, okay, we got to do this. Like, 'cause it's one of those things of like talking and then actually intention. Like, okay, we can talk all day long, but let's go get it. And so really for us, we bought the little Sparklets bottle. My wife was like, what are you doing? Because it looked awful. Like it was just like the wort and everything in there.
Yeah. So it's funny because as you can see the growth over it. It was like just a jug.
Yeah.
And then it was a legit jug, and then it was a small homebrewed system. And the small homebrew systems now are nice. They're really nice. You can actually get some really good.
Yeah, like Jack did
Again, like we did.
Really?
You'll try in a second. Our stout, we did that 4 or 5 times.
That was probably the hardest one to nail down. It
Really?
took us forever.
Well, we knew the vision.
Yes.
Again, we knew what we wanted in the flavor profile. We knew we wanted it crushable. So like a lot of stouts will knock you off your sauce. So we were like, no, like you gotta be able to drink it and still, be you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's hard to do because the wheat profile on a lot of stouts is it gets a high abbreviation really fast. So
did you know all of this like science before you started? Brew.
I knew from drinking a lot lot of beer.
Yeah.
I knew from,
breweries, that's right.
I knew from going to a lot of them, and I knew what I liked about some, what I didn't like about some. And then bringing the Chad, and he would just put his perfectionists like
it was just, it was
dangerously
the basic
perfectionist.
knowledge, and then digging in to be like, I want to learn every aspect of this craft, right?
Yeah.
And then again, I talk about like there's still more to learn, so much more to learn.
Sure.
Like there's brewers out there that have been doing it for 20 plus years that are master brewers, and we're not at that level. You know what I mean? Like, but we can learn from that level. You know what I mean? And we're really proud of what we can bring to the table.
Yes. So
I'm just like, how did you take the garage brew to like this
yes.
level?
So we got another expert, another creator from a brewery down in downtown Atlanta, and he's been instrumental in us showing us how to scale it, showing us where we're doing things wrong. He was really nice about that. I was like, you can be a little mean.
Yeah,
but like, you can tell us it sucks.
Really nice, but like you can be like,
you can tell us it sucks. But I mean, it's just he's been capturing our vision, and seeing the beer that we've been working on in the garage for a while and bringing it to a big scale, and then perfecting it. So
he probably saw like the future. He saw the passion. He saw the success.
Yeah. It was
that happened at a coffee shop as well. So because we're marketers. The first thing we did is we built a deck. And we built like a business plan. It was like a 12-page business plan, and then it was like a 20-page deck, all of our branding already in it and everything. And he was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I help out breweries I've been helping out breweries for 15 years. No one has had their stuff together as much as you guys going in. You guys actually have a vision. You guys, you got your path is here. Like you got it. So it was really nice seeing him, and he's been so helpful. Like again, we're sponges. Learning.
Like a mentor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's
become that too, which is so cool. Which we laugh because we're like, how do we have this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like rock star status.
Imposter syndrome hard when we talk to him.
Yes.
We're like,
you know what? On that, before I try this, I just want to say, because I was hoping you'd give me a segue to say this. I always say, like, when you are pursuing a passion project, so to speak, there is a magic that happens and you can't explain it. And what I mean by that is when you're walking the path, things fall in place and you cannot predict it. You cannot plan for it. But I believe, like, especially the why, the grounding, the foundation, the passion, things happen for you. Like, because there's been people that come into my life where I'm like, I would have never met them, but they're coming into my life because I'm walking this path.
Yeah.
And the universe, God, like whatever you believe, that's when those two meet. So when I hear this, I'm like, of course you met this guy who like saw life, because y'all are so ingrained and so committed, because this is it's not phony, it's real. It's like part of who you are. And it's just, That's the magic of the universe.
Yeah, and I found him by going deep onto like a sketchy forum about beer and about tweaking like hop profiles on a beer, and then just randomly I'm like, hey, this guy has his number here. Maybe he's in Atlanta. Oh, well, let's see what he's about. Hit it off right away. So like again, just finding people that are experts in their craft and like making us better for it.
To that point though, I love the ability to go out there and take the chance, right? Like to call someone that you may be like, oh, he's never gonna pick up. Right. Go get it. Like try. You know what I mean? Like
what's gonna happen?
Even if it doesn't go anywhere, you actually put that effort forward. So I mean, again, kudos to Ryan for forming that relationship because again, that just trajected all of this stuff. So I mean, don't be afraid to try. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
absolutely. So. And I just also want to point out, y'all did a bunch of work before you even reached out to him.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. So before we try any of these, do you already have beers that you like and don't like? What do you like in beer?
I love IPAs.
Okay.
Ooh,
I do love IPAs. Okay. If I had to go for a beer that's my least favorite, I would say maybe a sour. And it's not that I don't like them. It's just if there's too soury, and you're like, yeah, I'm having a great time.
I'm so excited for you to try our sour then. Yeah. Okay, so the way I have an order right now,
I'm so excited. This is real-time testing.
This first one is the IPA. So this is it's a medium bitterness. So if you're an IPA person, it's gonna be right up your alley.
Is there a way that, like, you know how with wine you're supposed to like shrivel it?
No, you do you.
Pinky just goes up.
That's fancy.
I'm a classy lady.
Yeah. So this one we did a couple things to make it a little cloudier because we thought that was more of a look of an IPA. It's so this traditional hops that you put in an IPA, it's West Coast.
Got some orange in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is my kind of IPA.
Yeah. So it's not.
I love a citrusy IPA, but not citrus tones. I can't. The grapefruit ones are sometimes too much.
Yep.
Like I don't want it to taste like a mango.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like sometimes I'm like, we're getting a little too creative with these beers. Like I need you to calm down. Like, but this is like that perfect.
Yeah, it was. We leaned into fruit notes, but not hard fruit.
Yes, we still wanted to have a body of a hop, but not so hoppy where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this.
Almost like burns a little bit. You know what I mean? Like almost bitter aftertaste.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to get notes of that bitter. When you drink that, what's going to your mind? Is it crushable? I know it is.
Should I make him wait for me?
You should make him sweat a little bit.
I feel like we're kind of like on that Hot Ones show. Like we're no, this is delicious. And you know what else? Sometimes IPAs can be a little heavy tasting. Yep. Especially in your belly.
Yep.
But I love IPAs. Like I love the boldness of the taste. I could sip this by the pool.
Yeah.
So like, because I'm talking about that. Crushed it.
Yes.
Like I could sit at a pool and I don't think this is going to make me bloated as heck. Not that I care that much, but you know what I mean? Like, it's more about being uncomfortable because you're in the hot heat and you're like, oh, I just make a really heavy beer.
Yeah.
This gives you that body, but the lightness of like a lager almost. But like, I'm not saying it's like a lager at all, but the feeling is like a lager. Yeah. The taste is like an IPA. Yeah. So I don't know what magic you did to do that.
Yeah. So additional a couple tweaks to the grain bill, additional filtration, and then just keeping an eye on the abbreviation. So none of these are really high abbreviation. Again, because we want crushable, you want to be able to drink it and again, not be knocked off.
It goes back to that intention, right? Like we want someone to like grab a game or like just be here with us, right? And so like if you're, one and done, like you kind of defeat the purpose of the community, right? Like
also, they got to keep going by more, right? Like we got to make some money here soon. No, I'm just kidding. But before I move on, you talk about the low abbreviation. Was there a reason behind that besides just that? Like any kind of market trends or like?
Well, yeah, definitely market trends. So definitely, this is the days of 2009, 11%. 11% IPA
turn thinking about
are over.
Those are too heavy.
Yeah, and people have spoken that trends are going towards the lighter beers, crisper beers.
We just talked about it too. Sitting outside by the pool, not feeling like garbage after you drink a beer because it is delicious, but some do wreck you, right?
I don't want just like a Mexican lager, which I love those with some lime, but like I want some body to it.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. So yes,
I think that's why Tropicalia got so famous because it rides that line of.
It reminds me of Tropicalia.
Yeah,
it really does.
Which is actually
I want you. That's crushable for me because that's my favorite beer. Yeah. So this to me is honestly maybe a better version of it because it's lighter. Because it is like Tropicalia is still a little heavy.
Yeah.
But not like what Wicked Wheat I think is one. Yep. But this is delicious. Yeah. That one's too much for me.
And also a big one.
That's great. I love it.
All right, so I don't know if you want to go. Next one right here.
Yes.
This one right here is a lager.
Okay.
And when you're drinking this, I want you to play out your Pilsner. You just
Do what? Well, I'm trying to play out my Pilsner.
Yeah.
Okay.
You reclined.
yeah.
Sun's out.
So we went
I love
super crisp on this, light drinkable social beer
It
that,
doesn't taste like a lager.
but it has a body to it. Yeah.
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 Not gonna lie. I mean, when I hear lager, I think of Bud Light. But
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm like, where's the taste?
Yes.
Like Coors or whatever.
Yep.
This has a taste to it.
It is. That was really the intention behind this, and the fact that you hit into that market of a lighter beer that's easy to drink and it's not hard, but at the same point has some flavor profile to it that you're not flipping into an IPA, right?
That my word is slaps. You're
I love it. That's good. We'll take it.
Don't take slaps.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's my buzzword.
Yeah. So
I also want to point out while I'm trying these delicious beers, again, you guys were not beer brewers before you started this.
no, so this one was the second one we tried. So we did the IPA first.
Yep.
IPA is the easiest.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, especially when you're doing home brewing. Once you're doing home brewing, you want to do IPA because you can cover up your imperfections with hops. So,
oh, good to know.
yeah. But this one was our second one. This one, the first iteration of this, like a spark went off in our head. We're like, this is it. We need to figure out how to make this clearer. So we had to filter it because at the home brew you get a little cloudy.
You get some haze.
But the taste was there. So again, we went to Josh. He's been the person helping us, and he were like, okay, so this is it. How do we make this pretty, and how do we make this scaled to the size of a
I haven't really tasted a lager like that.
Good.
I love to hear
that. That's amazing.
We wanted to stand out. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Because there's like I feel like I've said bitter now multiple times. There's bitter from the hops.
Dry.
Like,
Dry.
yeah, there's just something like stale with a lot of lager, you know, and this is smooth. I don't feel that staleness.
I love that.
Because I do like beer, but I don't like when I feel like it's just like it's still there. I'm like, wow.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
the thing that's great too is this journey that we really wanted every one of our beers to feel like it had its own story, right? And we didn't want to have like, oh, like that's really similar to this one. Like we really wanted to be like, oh wow, like you know what I mean? Like have something for everyone, but also make sure it had its own.
And when we release the brand name of this one, it's gonna be amazing.
I was gonna say, so we're keeping the brand name.
We're keeping the brand name secret. Yeah.
I really want to know the pop culture references.
There's pop culture references.
This one is actually probably the coolest one. This is like home felt story. So
you're gonna tease me with this, and
we
tell the
may.
story.
Yeah, you can tease. Tease it.
You want to tease it? Or
Go ahead, tease it.
All right. So for this one, there's
breaking news.
Yes, breaking news. Magic the Gathering card game, right? One that we do enjoy. One that's deep rooted in Ryan's family. His wife's family really kind of started this group, this Magic the Gathering group, and they meet every Thursday, which is really cool. And the sad part in the story is one of the family members passed away, and really was like the creator and inception of this whole band of people, right? Which is amazing. But in that, the whole group's called Llamas. So this is our llama lager, and it is a nod to him, a nod to that family, and really kind of a great piece we wanted to share with. So
yeah. So it was the group that met every other Thursday, and he was really goes back to our ethos. He was really inclusive. So what he did is he made it so Magic the Gathering, I'm sure, is a card game.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of expensive to play it.
Is it?
So he wanted everyone to be able to play it without barriers to entry, kind of like we're trying to do here. So he went and bought duplicates of all the cards for everybody and gave them out to everybody in the group. So everyone was on the same playing field coming in. Then unfortunately it passed away, but they kept doing it in his memory. So this lager goes all the way back.
He lives on.
Yeah,
and it's still a game night that happens to this day.
Yeah, still to this day.
It's
llama night.
Really cool thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, I know that wasn't the driver for this, but I wonder, like just all those influences building this beautiful, creative. Oh my goodness!
Cool.
I can't wait for this to open. I'm gonna cut.
That's the whole season more, but that one, that's a fun story.
Yeah, that was a fun story. Okay, so that's the lager. Okay, so
I'm feeling this one's the sour.
Okay, so you said you don't like sours. We had you in mind.
Okay, I love that. The only sour that I've ever drank, I'm like, I could actually drink this is the Earl Grey. I'm brain farting on the brewery, but I know it's Earl Grey tea is the name of the sour. Is it Wicked Wheat? I can't remember, but all right.
So wait, have her try it, and let's see if she knows what it's
deal.
Oh my goodness, that almost tastes like the cider, but like not.
Yeah,
those are too sweet for me.
Yeah.
This is a very subtle. I could drink this.
That's good.
This almost tastes like punch.
Yeah. So we wanted to take we didn't want, we wanted to do the sour profile without puckering as you drink it.
Yeah.
So essentially,
No puckering found.
yeah.
That's
So it's
good.
like a hint of this
This
sour.
is yummy.
Yeah, our goal in this was really like a green apple.
That's
yeah.
exactly what it tastes. You were
Yeah.
when you told me that before we started recording, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. It's just something I tasted. This really does taste like a green apple.
Yeah. So this took a while. We had the base of this done for a minute, and then it was just doing batches to figure out that fine line.
This might be my favorite.
That fine.
I'm glad you love it.
And you're not a
Which is
sour
funny. You're not a
person.
sour person.
This is like not my favorite. Like, wow.
You know what's funny
This
is
is so yummy.
it was great timing with this one too, because typically you kind of have to like spoil the beer to get a sour,
like,
which
how do you
is
make a sour?
kind of gross.
Yeah. So you do a typical process. So typically a traditional sour, you go through the normal brewing process, but then you have to sour it. So that's literally spoiling your batch of beer. So you put a lactobacterium in to literally spoil the beer, and then you start the fermentation process.
Which is a wild, not so great thing to like understand when you're doing
like,
it. But
I just heard the word bacteria. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's time consuming too. You have to essentially do like
It's like double the process.
Yeah, double the
essentially.
process. Yeah.
The cool thing about this though is they've come out with
So
actually like
yummy.
better and new yeast strains, so you don't have to do that process now. So you almost brew
So
like a
both-
normal brew.
There's both the same
It
time.
rocks. So it's cleaner, it's more efficient, and it's
I mean, this
awesome.
looks
So,
like apple juice.
yeah.
Like, it's so clear. This is so yummy. I'm just curious, what's the alcohol content on this one?
It's like a high 4. Yeah.
This is a summer beer.
Yeah.
Or like a pool beer. I mean, don't worry, it's a 365 beer.
Yeah.
This is one that you would sip like
Yeah.
like at the pool. Like, this is so
We're
yummy.
glad
really
you
excited
love
about that one because this one, I
My
mean,
gosh.
I
Shook.
love
I
it.
am not a sour girl.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can go 4 for 4 because I know you said Stout's also not
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
you typically go to. This one is a labor of love and one that is kind of a passion between Stout World Brew and coffee. Like,
love coffee.
I am coffee.
Yeah.
I love coffee.
It's the
Yeah. So all of our like ideas come from coffee shops. So, it's noted that. But,
yeah,
but,
clearly.
but stouts,
Our dreams come true.
the grain profile on stouts naturally gets a coffee flavor for it. That's why a lot of them tie into coffee.
Yep.
Some of them add more coffee. Like you have coffee stouts where they actually will do a steeping process and get coffee in it. Some people get coffee flavoring in other ways. But it does so well with stouts because it complements the already existing wheat profile.
So how do you guys put the coffee in yours?
We actually, we're going to partner with, it's a 2-step process, but we're going to partner, moving forward, we're partnering with a local business here.
Building that community.
Yeah, Chin Chin. They're a small roastery here. They actually roast their own beans.
Okay.
And then there's a couple ways you can do it. You start with a steeping process, and then you can also complement. Yeah. So this was the thorn in our side. And that's a little that's foreshadowing of the branding of this. This thing took us so many batches to get right.
Oh my.
We really went for a
my.
caramel macchiato.
Yeah.
Stout.
So caramel macchiato.
So you have some
That does not taste heavy.
so you have some
Right?
caramel cream in
Holy,
there.
how did you do that?
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
No.
It wasn't easy.
This, honestly,
How many do you think we threw out?
Oh,
3
probably
batches?
3 or 4 batches.
Every time we're like, nope.
Nope.
that's not it.
But again, it goes back to that, like, we want to make sure that what people are drinking is like, was great and they feel that experience on that journey and it just didn't flap. It didn't crush it.
slaps.
Yes. And
Slaps.
I feel like we've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I don't really, I'll be honest with you. I was trying to be nice. I don't do stouts at
Yeah.
all. Like, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I would probably argue that I don't like stouts more than sours, but this is amazing.
Oh, good.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, stouts
Oh my
are hard.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so
It's so delicious and yummy.
it
Yeah.
knows
I'm
to
glad
the
you like
stout fans because their stout fans like their stouts.
Yep.
So
Oh my
we
gosh,
really
that's
keep
good.
that profile. But then it's also drinkable by people. We want it uncrushable. Crushable
this-
stout is the hardest thing you've ever.
It is.
You don't.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know.
This
Not
one-
much of a stout girl. So, like,
Yeah.
I would drink that.
That's good.
And that's a very big compliment.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Holy moly.
This one's nice too. It sits at 6%. So it's not super crazy on the ABV side. But again, it was that point of like that fine medium of like, it's still stout, but it's not something that you're a 12%er and
Right.
you're like, if I don't want to do life after this.
Like, every
Um,
sip is just like a burp. Like,
yeah, yeah.
indigestion. You're like,
Yeah. It's so easy. It's so easy. If you're not careful with stouts, it'll happen. It'll
Yeah.
happen right after your brew process because you have to use so much grain in it to get. Yeah. So it was yes.
This is delicious. So
I'm
how do
glad
you
you
do the
like that.
coffee? It's like a
Well,
cheap
there's
part?
there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do it just with like flavoring to do adjust,
And that's
then
like
you can do
after
steeping.
ferment.
Yeah, you can also do
Yep.
steeping with actual beans. We have some equipment that.
Yep.
Okay, so this is legit.
It's
Like, you
legit.
got the real.
Real.
This is, man, I don't even know which one is my favorite.
That's the compliment. I
Yeah.
love it.
Man, it might be the sour.
I love it.
Which is
What's weird, it was blew your mind. That is exactly what we're, the fact that you're enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like,
so good.
So excited to share our craft with people.
Guys,
thank you for being a part of this.
That's freaking good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, like it's perfectionism. Like we've been really trying to perfect these for a long time. We really wanted to hone in on a core that what we're really proud about and covers a lot of the bases. And you tried 4/5 of that today.
Wow. So there's a fifth one.
There's
What's
a
that one? Or that one a secret?
No, that's not a secret.
So we have a Pilsner that's coming, and then we have a lemon shandy.
Yeah.
That's our first seasonal. So we'll do seasonals.
Okay.
We'll have our core of the 5 that we talked about, and then we'll have some rotationals. The shandy's gonna be our first.
Yep.
That one was our first one that we brewed the first time, and we're like, we did it.
Yeah.
That's the only one. The only one we're like, yes, we got the profile we want, and then we got the cloudiness. So you want shandies to be cloudy.
Yeah.
So shandy has wheat in it, and you want it to be cloudy, and you want it to have a lemon zest, and we got it all in the first time. So that one, we're excited about that one. We're glad that our first seasonal is tried and true because we know it. We know we can do it. Our second seasonal we'll be a little more ambitious with, and that's going to be a little scary. We're gonna do our first aging process in bourbon barrels. So for the holiday, like later in the holidays.
Yep.
Oh, very
really
cool. Oh my gosh.
But even that part, like because we'll have 2 that's rotating throughout the year, it's community involvement. So for us, it's like we'll share some ideas of recipes that we want and get feedback. It's like, oh, that sounds great. Let's do it. And then we'll create that recipe profile and rock and roll.
So amazing.
It's going to be a fun journey. And you go back to like videoing and doing all this stuff, like showing people like, hey, it's like we're brewing it. It's coming. And like, it's an exciting thing to share.
You know, one thing that, I mean, there's actually not even one thing. There are so many things I love about y'all's story. All right. And y'all are both like, you are fabulous, Chad. Ryan, I've known you from Kennesaw. You are fabulous as well. I just, again, want to hit the product of what you're selling didn't even come first. You were not beer brewers, maybe beer connoisseurs, but not beer brewers. Yep. But you were creatives that wanted something more out of our existence, out of your life. You knew you were destined for more. And I just think that is so epic, one, but just, it's beautiful. And I'm stressing it because I am a huge believer in anybody going after their dreams and passion, but also you don't have to have it all figured out. Y'all didn't even have the product figured out. But what did you have? The passion, the goal, the why.
Yep.
And then the things worked out for you. And granted, yes, there were speed bumps. There was red tape. There is some BS. There are so many layers to this. Like you said, like opening a business is one thing, but then opening a brick and mortar is another. And then like, oh my God, alcohol is this whole other world. And I'm hitting that for anyone listening because it's overwhelming. It's a lot. And just to, again, share a story where it comes in pieces. It comes in waves. It comes in, just walking the path. And you could not have predicted finding that guy, but it worked out. And that's where I talk about the magic. So I just want to, this is me just, again, commenting on that and commending both of you for sharing your story and believing in your why enough that you did it and you followed through and that shit slaps.
Yeah. And I want to do a shout out to Josh Watterson at Elsewhere Brewing. Amazing. If you live in Atlanta, visit his spot. His beers are incredible.
I'm going to go have
He's heavily European inspired, but they all, like you said,
he's a winner. He's
a
genius. Yeah, he's so good at his craft. And again, blessing to be able to have someone like that in our life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. And I just love hearing like how you establish roots in the community already and you're going to build this great community. Cause like, it's a cohesive relationship with you in the city kind of thing. So you're doing all the right things. No ego, amigo, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think it's beautiful. I'm inspired myself. Like this is really like, truly, I'm not just saying that to like, tout your ego. Like it's really, really wonderful. One thing kind of wanted to end on, and I think there's been heavy themes, and I'm going to keep sipping some of this.
You're more than welcome.
Is the creator space, being a creator. So that's like a huge like core of what Elixir Brew Co.
Yes,
Chad,
absolutely.
Ryan, what you are. Like you've talked about your marketing days. Like, oh, I'm already invested. Days past.
So yeah, creating is living life. Yeah. Creating is living life.
Wait.
So
one more time.
Yeah, creating is living life.
Putting
so whether you're creating your craft, having kids is creating, you're creating life. It's like living to your fullest. Like I said at the beginning, like it's it's almost our duty as humans to just give it all you got.
Yep.
I love that. I'm not like, don't worry, I'm not going to cry or anything.
No.
But like that is, I truly believe that like finding purpose in life, like, whatever you believe, sure, there's purpose there too. But I do think life is meant to like live on your own terms in a way. Like, I mean, don't be a bad person. Like there's a difference in that. But like, I completely wholeheartedly believe that. And it's really cool to hear someone else say the same thing. Because sometimes I feel like I'm a little like crazy, not like crazy, but I'm like, I'm living in like a different cloud. Like, what am I doing? But like the more people, as I walk my path, the more people I meet who believe the same thing.
Absolutely.
So creators need creators.
Absolutely.
In a way.
Yep.
I think it's beautiful.
I mean,
cheers.
Life in general is amazing. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that it's like, you are a person, right? Like, you are put on this earth to do amazing things, and like just celebrating the belief that you are awesome, right? And yes, like, because there's a lot of self-doubt out there, and there's a lot of people that unfortunately don't have a love community and or family that loves them back, which is so sad. But like,
so sad.
Man, there's a lot of people out here that do actually care about every single one of you. And we be part of it.
I think you absolutely will. Like, I mean, one of the things that we put on this sheet was how to encourage others to create or build. And I mean, I'm a creator. I've been doing this for 2 years, and I am so inspired just by our conversation, because there's something magnetic and beautiful about people who believe in themselves so much and believe in like it's bigger than me. I don't feel any ego from either one of you. Like, I can feel that your mission is to serve others by serving yourself too. You know what I mean? Like, that is serving you, is serving others. And I think maybe that's why the universe aligned for us to collaborate, because I believe that. Like, all I want is to make people love themselves. And like, because we're talking about, like, it's hard. Life is very hard.
Yeah.
And we are not taught to love ourselves. So we need community, because if you don't have you, who's going to have you? And you surround yourself with people who support you and validate you. And it's very beautiful and inspiring, and all of the positive words I could think of, to meet two people who believe that. And then they're, in addition to just leaving that, they're creating a space to just blast that out to everyone.
Yep.
And
that's why it's perfect that you're here too, because I've been following your journey for a while, and it might have been rough at the start, but you've really come a long way. You're unapologetically you, and
authenticity sells.
That's why I was like, there's no better way to start this than with someone that's doing kind of the same thing. So
okay, well, I'm not gonna cry. We're okay. But seriously, I think what you guys got here is something so beautiful and amazing, and I cannot wait to the opening day. I can't wait to be able to see this in my store. Is that the idea? One day you guys are going to distribute?
Well, that is on the roadmap.
That is the goal.
I need to be drinking this.
Yes, that is
like, I need this at the pool this year.
Yeah. Yes.
If I don't get it, I'm upset. I don't know which one I'm going to get, because they're all freaking good. But, you know, I mean, again, like, how do you land an IPA that has an IPA taste that doesn't make your belly 5,000 pounds? Like, I would like to know. Like, that is like a Tropicalia Light.
I love that.
I don't mean like,
no,
you know what I mean?
I love that. And that's high praise.
I mean that as I would drink that before I would drink Tropicalia.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? Especially because like, I feel like light drinks are like more popular nowadays, because no one wants to feel like a 1,000 pounds, you know, hanging out, especially in the Georgia heat.
Yep.
So yeah, I think this is incredible. So are there any like last parting words that you want to share for anyone who, whether they want to open a brewery, whether they want to start a business, or just a creator who is feeling a little in the rut, needing inspiration to keep going with their art, their craft, whatever?
I can do the first one. You can do the creator one.
Sure.
Just take that first step. Like, literally, like, just rip the Band-Aid off. Take that first step. Like, again, our first batch was in a jug, but we started something. So just take that first step. Like, it's stressful, it's like anxiety, and there's a million reasons not to do it. Just do it.
How I feel. Like, my advice is just start, because that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just start, because you will talk yourself out of everything.
Yes, you will.
And once you start, you're going to run into a bunch of issues. Like, I'm not saying it'll be easy, but like, you've already started. So now you're like, well, I'm not going to give up. Crap, I've already started. Like, that's like what my mindset was. And then I just kept going, and then here we are.
On the creator side, it really comes down to like that inner feeling that you have of like needing to create and wanting, that's the right path, right? Like, whether you like, it may change later down the road of like what that looks like, but pursue that. You know what I mean? Like, keep going towards that core and that fire, because if you try to do something outside of that, you're going to be miserable. Like, in our journey, like, I love the experiences, but it's not who I am. You know what I mean? Like, this is who we are. So if you are a creator out there, continue to keep driving, even though it may seem like you're hitting a wall that you can't break through, because if you keep pushing, it will come down.
Oh, well, on that note, gentlemen, for anyone listening, where can they find you? Where can they find Elixir Brew Co?
Downtown Buford. Downtown Buford.
Brick and mortar's in downtown Buford, but like, where can they find you?
ElixirBrewCo.com. Man, I don't remember the social media names in my head. This is so new. I think it's Elixir Brew Co. I think it's Elixir Brew Co.
I'll make sure I tag everything.
Tag.
So
yeah, that stuff will be up in line here in the next coming weeks.
Yep.
And we are really close to kicking this thing.
I know, I'm so excited. Like I am foaming at the mouth.
I love it.
Literally.
Love it.
Well, Ryan, Chad, thank you so much. This has been my pleasure. This is so wonderful. And thank you for everyone listening. And hopefully we'll see everyone here. Maybe we'll do like a live podcast show at the
Yes,
company.
that would be fantastic.
I mean, I've always dreamed about that. Like, so there you go. But thank you everyone for listening. I'm Elizabeth Cheney. This is Chad, Ryan. We will see you in Buford, Georgia at the Elixir Brew Co. And yeah, I'll see everyone next week.
Cheers. To the experimenters.
Yeah. Cheers.